Good morning and good evening, my dear beloved friends. A warm welcome to one and all of you, and I greetings to you, and I welcome you again to these online sessions where we are always in the business of dealing with very important subjects, very important topics, and these are the topics which really helps you to stay positive in life. In the sense, you will also be able to overcome challenges and this is one thing that makes you a very significant person, a different person, a very practical person, not filled only with this theoretical knowledge, but you go through a lot of practical experiences. When you go through some rough situations, you must be able to handle the challenges so casually, without any problem or struggle. And that's why we are picking every single topic in such a way that it builds you a better person, and it not only helps you to stay positive as far as your feelings and emotions are concerned, but then it also helps you to face the challenge and builds you a very bold person, right? And that's why these sessions are important. Share it with your friends, and let us march forward together as a very confident society. That's the entire idea of enrolling these sessions, that therefore as a society we build that kind of positivity and we build overcomers. All right. Today's session, yes, we are going to deal with yet another topic where you all of us would have gone through this at least once in your lifetime. Is there any human being in this world that could say, I've never done any mistakes in my life? Absolutely. Now I think you made the guess. We are talking about a subject, how to deal with mistakes, or how to get rid of mistakes is quite a different topic, but how to deal with mistakes and how to kind of ensure that we don't tend to repeat those mistakes in life. And first of all, we need to understand for that, to be there, that you want to kind of overcome mistakes and get rid of mistakes and deal with mistakes. You need to understand what are the basics of a mistake, right? What is the mistake thing all about? um, it has various perceptions. The actual meaning of the mistakes, right? If you were to look at that, it has a lot of perceptions. Some people say it's a wrong judgment. Yeah, I judged somebody wrongly. That is a mistake. Some people say, I have misunderstood somebody, and that's a mistake. And some people say it was a wrong action, or the kind of the words that proceed out of my mouth. That situation, it happened to be right, but later when I realized it was a mistake, I shouldn't have spoken like that, right? Or a statement proceeding through a faulty judgment or inadequate knowledge. You are only like a half cooked vegetable. You didn't have the complete idea of a person before judging him or her, but then you end up throwing that words which you are not able to take it again. It's like the bow that is shot out of the, sorry, it's the arrow that is shot out of the bow. It goes and harms the person is bleeding. How much ever you may go to try and go towards him and try to pull out that arrow, the hurt is hurt hurt which is instilled and make the person bleed. You can only take him to hospital and get surgically operated, but it depends, like if the person is still alive or dead. So similarly, your action, uh, with this half-cooked knowledge or with a faulty judgment, happens to be a mistake. But some mistakes are something that you commit either knowingly, willingly, or it could be unknowingly, um, with all sorts of misconceptions, misapprehensions, misunderstanding, and therefore it happens to be a terrible mistake which is not rectifiable. Some mistakes are not something which you can rectify. Yeah, it'll be like a lifelong scar in your heart and mind. That's why we are dealing with this important subject, mistakes, where you can either get rid of mistakes, or you will find ways to overcome mistakes, or you will find ways not to repeat mistakes. This is exactly what we are dealing through these sessions. And I just laid down the foundation to help you understand the definition of mistakes. Now, what is mistake and what are the possible examples that I could understand? The definition of mistake is very simple. It is an error or a misunderstanding according to the according to any standards, right? You refer dictionary, or you refer your life of the past, or you go to a psychiatrist, he will tell the same thing more or less. A mistake is defined as to, misinterpretation or to confuse or, someone with another person. An example of mistake is for a person to think he sees his brother when he's actually a stranger, right? You mistake that, once I had a funny experience. Excuse me. From the behind, I could see there was a person standing, and the backward appearance happened to be simply like my friend, and that was a female. And I know that person for a very long time. She's just like my sister and childhood friends. I happened to touch that person. When she turned, my goodness, my face turned pale and I start to sweat, almost about to weep. But that lady was so, so nice, and she said, "Hey, don't worry. I think you have mistaken me." She used this word. "I think you're mistaken me for someone else," and she was very kind. From that day, I decided I would never touch anybody unless I confirm looking at their face. That was one good example that I could recollect. So you may have so many funny examples, or you may have so many serious examples too. But all of these boils down to one word: mistake, right? So the big mistake, small mistake, bad mistake, good mistake, there is nothing like that. Mistake is a mistake. So what are mistakes in life? As a general question, if I were to answer that, some people, various people have various experiences in life, and all of them are going to be different from each other, but all of them constitutes to one term or terminology, that is mistake, right? Now I will share a few things with you, whatever I have understood, right? Some people, the places where they went is a mistake. I shouldn't have gone there. Since I went there, I met this fellow, I ended up in a wrong friendship, wrong companionship. For some people, even some opportunities happens to be a mistake. I shouldn't have picked that job because I knew that that was not going to be building my career, yet I took a chance. Now see, I landed up in a trap. Yeah. For some people, the kind of money they spent, they were like spendthrift. Now they have lost their job, they are in debt, and now they repent. I shouldn't have wasted that money, spent that money. It was a mistake. I should have saved the money. Therefore, now I at least able to clear my bills or pay my EMIs. Right? For some people, time they wasted. It was a mistake that I have wasted plenty of time in the past. Now I don't have time to build my skills. No time to sleep also. And one side bills are chasing me, other side debt is chasing me, debtors are chasing me, and what a big mistake. For some people, the friends whom they hurt was a mistake. I shouldn't have hurt them, because why? Even if I were to regain that kind of friendship or look for another alternate similar to that quality friendship that I had with that person, I'm not getting. Now they realize it's too late to repent. That's why I spoke about the words that proceeds out of your mouth, and you need to really watch out. Yeah, for some people, the opportunities they missed, like that I can go on and on with a big list of things, and there is no solid description, there is no rule book like these are the mistakes and these all are the things which cannot be a mistake. There is nothing like that you could divide. But then it's all about the experiences that you go through, and through your experiences you recognize certain things as mistakes, and through those mistakes you could rectify, you could overcome, you need not repeat mistakes. Because why? Now you understand the value of that mistake, right? That something you lost you just cannot regain. This is called as experience, not just a feeling, right? Experience. Now, for some people, example I will take, they ask a question: is cheating somebody a mistake? It is not a mistake, but it's even worse than that. It's the choice you made. You are so cruel, you are so wicked that you made a choice to cheat somebody. Don't ever limit it to mistake. Mistakes happens unknowingly, sometimes knowingly also, right? But that's little different. But this is a wicked choice you have made. So don't ever say that it was a mistake that I had to cheat that person. No, you are a cheater and you are a liar. That means you made a choice to lie and you made a choice to cheat, and it's just not ordinary, right? Now these cheaters, right, they commit actions without thinking of their significance, right? Significance in the sense that the choice, that they prefer destroys another person mentally, economically, psychologically, right? They don't visualize on the consequences, the significance of the post consequences, and they won't feel like, themselves ever again. The moment they realize that they have committed such a crime, it's just not a mistake, right? It's a mistake with crime, because why? You made a choice. And there is no need for someone to feel so bad about themselves once you have realized that cheating was not just a mistake but a crime. Don't live in that guilt. That is also not right. Right? Now, is mistake a choice? I clarified it already. Selecting the wrong answer on a test is a mistake. Not studying for the test is a bad decision. Right? Just taking a practical example here. This mistake was something, you did without intention, unintentionally, right? The bad decision was made unintentionally, often without the regard for the consequence. You did not visualize much on the post consequences. And it's easy to dismiss your bad decisions by reclassifying them as unknowing mistakes or mistakes committed unintentionally. Therefore, yes, you made a mistake by choice but unintentionally. You didn't know the consequence. It's much different from cheating somebody, making a choice to gain their money, to cheat their money and make them economically dropped and in debt, and you become rich overnight. Who are you? You are a cheater, and yes, you deserve to live in the guilt. Don't make that knowing choice knowingly, not just a mistake, but it's a crime. I'm just drawing thick lines between the mistake and by choice unintentionally, mistakes by choice, being wicked and having that crime attitude, right? So be careful who you are. So people, they make all mistakes and they say it was just a mistake. Unknowingly, I did it. No, you didn't do it unknowingly. You did it by choice, but you have a different category to, classify your deeds. What are the different types of mistakes? The top two or three mistakes we want to categorize, right? The common laws identified three types of mistakes. For example, in a contract, yeah, unilateral mistakes, mutual mistakes, common mistakes. Common mistakes, what people tend to do is, um, especially in India, you go by the Google map, right? You will end up landing somewhere else. You also need to have little bit of knowledge in the local geography. You need to have a local guide to guide you. And if you don't go with the localites guidance, then it's a big mistake depending on Google map and landing somewhere else. Example I told, right? A unilateral mistake is where one party is aware of the other party's mistake, right? It's just like a contract. Now, these types of contracts are void as there is no adjoining link between the offer and the acceptance, right? I will give you a very practical experience. I spoke a little bit of theory, right? Now, you have got an offer letter from a company and you just signed the offer without reading the conditions. Days later, you had been identified as a violator, right? Because you misused their printer, for example, where you're not supposed to print for your personal things. And for that reason, you are terminated of your job. And that happened to be a recession period, you're not getting a job. What a terrible mistake, right? That's why sometimes you need to open your eyes and read carefully before you sign something. Not only that, before you get into some action, before you make a decision, before you want to accept a friendship, before you want to get married and accept somebody as your life partner, you need to really analyze carefully, go through various aspects of that parameter, be convinced, only then sign for it. Sign for your marriage. Don't sign in that marriage register before you are convinced, right? And don't do that on the marriage day. You got to do it much in advance. That was a joke, but I'm just telling you this is a very serious thing, right? Now, what is a common mistake? Common mistake is another important type or category. Common mistake is a circumstance where all parties basically they mistake. And for example, all parties in the sense all actors, they the same offer letter example, they thought it is all good. They went by the company name, but the company has got lots of local laws and they have certain regulations, rule. CMMI level 5 company, you can't even carry a simple paper out of your or any printed material out of your company. It becomes a violation and their license can be cancelled. So strict some companies are. Don't go by the company name and say, "Hi, it's a cool place to work." Yes, it's a cool place to work, but you need to fall by their laws and standards. And sometimes you don't do that, then it's a big problem, right? Now, mistakes of the past, does it define the real who you are from the present situation perspective? Your past mistakes are meant to guide you. It builds you as a better person. You learn from your mistakes, right? But it does not define your real character. Yes. Some people I have always seen, judging somebody or condemning somebody, saying that, hey, you know who he was 10 years ago, he did such a crime. Now you look at the current situation, that guy would be a person who was the sympathizer and empathizer, and he had been a very good instrument in the hands of the government in saving people, and serving people in the slum people thing, or employee engagement programs and stuff like that. But then some people will gossip silently, be careful. 10 years ago he was like this, 5 years ago, last year also he was involved in this thing. But you don't judge somebody of their past, but you judge somebody of their present, right? And that is the right thing to do, and that is the sense of humanity. You want to be a good human being, please don't get involved these kind of judgmental decisions, right? It doesn't build you as a good person, or it doesn't allow the other person also to march forward in life, right? In the interest of time, I need to move on now. What are some of the biggest mistakes in life? You need to understand, right? Because always people count these mistakes as something light, but there are bigger mistakes in life too, which you need to understand. Now, for again, I'm touching upon different categories, right? If you are a person who's working on anything in your personal life or professional life without any goal, without any target, without any destiny which you want to reach, it's one of the biggest mistakes. Why? Because it will definitely hamper your career, your professional life, and also your personal life, and about which we discussed in other sessions. Second thing is, you neglect your personal relationships, in the sense you take somebody for granted, husband yelling at wife, not even having understood how it will make her feel. She's my wife, I can do anything I want with her. No. And same applies to wife, and same applies to, you may be thick friends from childhood, but then you need to understand that there are certain reactions or emotions that every human being will tend to go through, and therefore you need to respect it. And that's exactly the point I'm trying to make. And for some of the biggest mistakes are, you don't spend enough time with your aging parents. Yeah, they brought you up, but then you say goodbye to them and you take a flight and go to US and settle there. And you will call them exactly for what reason? When your wife is pregnant, to take care of your newborn baby. It's cruelty. If you're living like that, please change your attitude. Spend enough time with your parents. Call them up and make them stay for 6 months, give them the good feeling, and then send back home. And after some point of time, come back to your motherland, right? You cannot settle down in a foreign country and drop your parents. It's one of the biggest mistakes. I am not saying this. It's not my personal experience, but this is something that they have analyzed, they have researched. Bunch of experts sitting down and researching. Neglecting your health is also one of the important mistakes. There was a CIO or CEO, I don't know, of the SAP Labs, right? The guy died at the age of 40 or something like that. He was quite fit, etc. But then he did not give importance to sleep. Sleeping is one of the important parameter of your health. You don't sleep well, sound sleep of 7 to 8 hours, then you're killing yourself. It's like a slow poison. That could end up to be a big mistake, which you cannot rectify. The man is dead and gone. Many years ago it happened. Caring what others think about you could happen to be a big mistake. Because why? You keep paying attention to other people's gossip and comment and feedback about you. Look at his dress. You'll get too much carried away. You cannot be a natural person. You cannot be of yourself. So don't pay attention to other people's gossips. Nice to receive feedback, but receive it from your boss, not from other 20 people. Let them go and tell your boss. At workplace also it applies, right? Otherwise it becomes harassment. You can even go and complain it to your boss that these are the people who are bullying you every day, right? So don't pay attention, right? So these are some of the biggest mistakes, right? And again, the last thing is doubting yourself on your ability. If you're always in the doubtful mindset, can I do this? And try it out, you fail, I told you, right? The failure is the first step to success, through which only you can learn that you failed because of certain mistakes. Therefore you can learn. It becomes a kind of a learning spree. Without mistakes, without failure, without defeat, without certain disputes, or without certain quarrel, not quarrel with human being, quarreling with the situation, there is no way you will be able to learn anything in life. You'll be stagnant. You'll be just stagnant and stuck there in that position. And that's why it's very, very important to understand this aspect, that you got to always stick to this principle of learning from your mistakes. Doesn't mean that I'm encouraging you to commit mistakes, but then it happens sometimes, right? Therefore you don't doubt on your skill set, right? And lastly is not taking action. You know you have committed a mistakes and you're not doing anything about it, and that's not at all a good habit. I'm really telling you this. You need to quit that habit, seriously. All right, so in the interest of time, let's move ahead, and I will have to cover just one more last thing and then two more last things now. How do I stop punishing myself for the past mistakes? Because you have that guilt conscious all the time, isn't it? Now, we have discussed some of this, but acknowledge your own mistakes, accept it, but don't carry it like a baggage, the garbage on your back, right? Leave it behind, right? This will calm your mindset and gives you some power to overcome the situations or the mistakes of the same kind which you may face in the future. Now the second thing is like the other way of technique to forgive yourself is identify the mistake, analyze the situation, and see exactly what caused the outcome, and then pick out certain planning stuff and then apply it to your life. Correct the problem and move on. Let go, move on. That's it. That's a simple principle, and obviously you will feel so relieved and relaxed, right? The last but not the least is, how do you get over making a mistake? In the sense, how can I avoid making mistakes? Many tips are there. Now here's what exactly you should be looking for, right? Allow yourself for that bad feeling after you commit mistake, and then again I repeat, you have to plan, strategize, and next time when you come across a similar mistake, be cautious, be reminded of what you did in the past, right? Next thing is, assess exactly what happened, whether it was because of you, or it was because of a situation, or it was because of a circumstance, or because of certain group of people who ditched you or something like that. You need not be the reason for every mistake that happens in your life. That's exactly what you need to assess properly, and then understand and realize you are not the reason. Therefore you need not be feeling guilty. You need to move on, but be careful, watch out, don't end up in a similar trap next time, right? Thirdly, fix your mistake if possible and apologize to yourself and apologize to whoever was the reason, whichever party was involved. Therefore, what happens is you will feel so calm inside of you. You will feel you will go through a different experience. You can try it. It cannot be explained. It can be only felt. Certain experiences and feelings can only be felt. It cannot be explained. But it's nice. That much only I can tell you. And next thing is, um, you meet with that person privately, and then you deal with those problems in a private place and offer a solution that it is possible to fix and have that mutual agreement, because this time the mistake happened because of you and you have identified that you were the root cause. Go offer a solution, offer an apology, and then work with that person and fix it up, patch it up, right? Or take it through the proper channels, and see how you can change your working style, change your habitual practice, change your way of thinking, and be kind to yourself. That's the important philosophy, that's important doctrine, I would say. You engrave, be kind to yourself, don't be harsh at yourself. But being kind, I'm not trying to say you need to encourage yourself to commit more mistakes or repeat the mistakes. No, no, don't repeat the mistakes, and don't press yourself hard to commit more mistakes. Be an overcomer, right? But what happens is when you start fixing these problems 10, 20 times, 30 times, 50 times in your life, your nature changes, your habitual practice changes, your the way of you analyzing, approaching a problem, or the problem approaching you, the way how you would handle the problem, it changes. You will be able to see the difference, right? I was not the same 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Every single year I am seeing the change. Why? Because I always want to press hard towards perfection, and through it all, I need to also go through the mistakes, right? I just cannot become perfect without a failure. And that'll be a fake thing. That's not what world offers, right? We all have to go through challenging situations. All right. With this, we want to wind up this session, and I hope it was a very useful session. Please comment and give your feedback in the channel, and enroll yourself for these kind of sessions in the channel. Subscribe and share it with your friends, young people, old people, mid-aged people, doesn't matter. These kind of sessions, these kind of topics are applicable to every human being, regardless of any age group, and it's going to only help you. I can promise you. Stay safe, stay at home. Don't get into any unnecessary events or something like that. It's a pandemic situation, therefore take good care of your health. I will meet you soon with another topic, with another session. Until then, bye and take care.